Last Monday, I issued a challenge to my viewers to only use Monotype Teams. Here are two of my favorite submissions from this week. The first replay of the day is brought to you by Carter Noble of Little Root Lessons, and he is showing us his Mono Steel team. Let's get right into this game. Turn 1, Carter is going to kick us off by doing something incredibly silly, because Helping Hand does not work on Goldengo. There's going to be a slight exchange that ends in a sleeping Bronzong, and Carter's opponent Velas is going to take advantage of this by switching to Gothitelle and then applying little to no offensive pressure for the next several turns. There is now a sleeping Bronzong, and Velas is going to take the opportunity to protect and set Trick Room, which I found to be a very weird choice because Bronzong is going to absolutely dominate under Trick Room. Velas says, haha, you cannot Helping Hand, but I can. However, Velas has a different problem in that Ting Lu is basically wearing a blindfold. You're about to see Rock Slide miss another time against Goldengo, absolutely cannot get hit. And there's going to continue to be some slight chip between the two players. Another Helping Hand that makes 3 in a row if you're keeping score. Bronzong is going to buff up a little bit as Goldengo goes down. This leads into the last turn of Trick Room, and I really love what Carter does here. He opts to body press to get rid of the Ting Lu and decides to buff up King Gambit for when we transfer into the regular speed turns. Carter says, thank goodness I can finally Helping Hand something. Decides to take advantage of the opportunity to get rid of a Moongus before it can do anything else. When Gothitelle comes out, Carter has a game plan for that. You just double protect to dodge the fake out, and then he can pick up again with his plan on turn 10, which is to Sucker Punch the Goodra for infinity damage. And then Gothitelle is left, unfortunately, not able to do much on Velas's behalf, and so you're going to see on the next turn that he's going to scoop. Now, the chat, Velas is not quite too happy about how the RNG has turned out, but I don't know that you can blame all of this on RNG. Sure, Goldengo dodged a handful of Rock Slides, but it was really King Gambit that did the bulk of the damage, and Velas also just didn't do a very good job of taking advantage of the sleep turns. And I'd say most of what they did with Gothitelle was not super useful, but our second game of the day is brought to you by Kamikaze Kid. This is Chaotic Rouse in the bottom left here. And Kamikaze Kid has decided that winning is not important to him for Funday Monday, and so he brought the Bug Pokemon. Now his opponent Hero is going to immediately Terrastallize into the Fire type, much to the chagrin of Kamikaze Kid's entire team. Thankfully, the choice band strength of this Slitherwing is going to start punching holes right away. Nihilape is going to position itself to get a little bit scary. Hero is going to try and pivot a little bit. Volcarona is unfortunately not going to get a lot done before going down, but the Slitherwing, as you can see, just did a second close combat with this choice band for very, very respectable damage. Third close combat will make Ion Moth no stronger than Wet Paper, and you're going to see it drop very easily to a Rage Fist. But the Nihilape is now asleep. So he decides, Kamikaze Kid, that it is time to Terrastallize Water type. But a Pollen Puff into the Frostmoth was ill-timed. It had not taken any damage yet, so it was kind of wasted. The Frostmoth is going to Quiver Dance. Unfortunately, the Vivian is not going to get to do literally anything. It's going to whiff the Pollen Puff and then go down to extreme speed after the Flare Blitz. Now, Frostmoth against the world, and Kamikaze Kid decides, you know what, I'm going to Quiver Dance a second time. Able to get rid of the Annihilate before it can wake up, taking these extreme speeds and starting to just throw Terra Blasts at everything that it can. And a Citrus Berry is going to help round it off in order to actually finish up the game for a win for Kamikaze Kid. Very, very exciting. The Bugs made a comeback. That concludes week 1 of Funday Monday. The challenge for week 2 is as follows. You are not allowed to switch your Pokemon. Now, if the effect of an item, ability, or a move causes a switch to happen, that is allowed. You are merely barred from manually switching out your Pokemon. Submit those replays, and I'll see you next Monday.